I said women don't like dudes who got their own, who don't need them. They rather deal with men who are not that intellectually aggressive, who gonna let them say what they want and do what they want. They rather deal with a man like, not saying you like that, but most women out here don't want to deal with a man who gonna say, baby, nah, don't wear that. Nah, baby, don't talk like that. They don't really want to deal with that. They rather deal with a dude who let them say and do whatever they want to do. And they think if a man be a man, he's toxic.
Why are today's women so filled with hatred towards men, yet they will still engage with men for attention and resources?
Because women are desperate sometimes. Not me, though.
Because everybody needs to survive. Everyone needs to survive, period. But I think it's scarier for women nowadays just because there's a lot of different energies, like male energies. And as a woman, I can say I choose the bear any day.
We are way more superior than you guys. Without women, men wouldn't exist. You guys are actually nothing. Because without us, you're useless. You wouldn't even be born. Okay? And all men, whether you were with them for 10 years or not, will cheat and lie. So it doesn't really matter.
Are you attracted to men at all, or?
Am I? Yes. Well, I'm bisexual, yeah. I was actually with a man for 10 years. We just broke up like about a year ago, so.
I noticed as women, we have a very hard time letting a man be his own man. We will, and it really does come from a loving place. I'm aware of this. We will feel like we know what's best and try to like push them to do what we think is best. But at the end of the day, we have to keep in mind that they have their own like journey of life to go on, and they're going to have to make mistakes, and they're going to have to bump their heads, and they're going to have to learn from it. I feel like the best thing that we can do is just be supportive. We can give suggestions, but don't be controlling. Like, just give once. Like, babe, I don't think this is the best plan. I think this would be better, but I support you in whatever decision you make. And say he makes a tough decision and it doesn't end up successful, or it doesn't work out how he thought it would work out. The best thing you can do at that point is just ask him, what did he learn from it? Because as long as he's learned a lesson from it, it was helpful. It's never an L if you learn from mistakes. So it's very important to keep that in mind, ladies. Let your man be his own man. Let him go down his own life path and let him bump his head. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to bump our heads. Let him make his mistakes. And as long as he's learned from it, it's good. Be there with him on his life journey along the way. You're there for support, not there to stress him out.
There is an obvious war on young men happening right now, and the objective of this war is to keep men and women divided so that we don't join together to create family units, because if there's one thing that the elites hate, it is a strong family unit. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't see this problem getting better until women, myself included, take responsibility for the hand that we've had in radicalizing men. I'm going to add this disclaimer, even though I shouldn't have to. I'm obviously not saying that women are solely responsible for fixing this issue, okay? I'm not saying that. But I will say that we had a big hand in creating this problem, and it is our responsibility to partially amend it. So what's going on with young men exactly? Well, the simple answer is they are not doing well. They are not succeeding. Women are surpassing them at every level in professional careers and education, all of it. Okay, we are seeing young men struggle. They are addicted to porn. They are addicted to video games. They do not want to partake in society because they have internalized this message that society and women hate them. Now, because this is the message that they are constantly hearing from society, both online and offline, men are becoming more radical. They are looking towards figures like Andrew Tate because figures like Andrew Tate actually validate them. And we as women, we have not made this any easier for men. Okay, I will give you an example of what the average experience for a man is in this current society, especially online. Men go on TikTok and what do they see? They hear women saying, if you're not tall, rich, and hot, get out of my face. They see women doxing men online just for, sending them a DM on Instagram just because they're ugly. They see women saying, men used to go to war and die and now they just take pictures. They see all of this. And it just reinforces this idea that society hates them and that women hate them. I don't know about you, but I would also not want to partake in a society that makes me feel that way. I would also not want to couple up with the gender that's making me feel that way. Now look, this conversation is very nuanced. I'm not saying this is the sole reason why men are becoming radicalized, because it's not. but it is a portion of it, right? And this is something that we as women can control. So ladies, I need you to stop complaining that there are no good guys out there, because first of all, that's not true. And also, we are not creating an environment that is going to facilitate the growth of good men. We are creating an environment that makes them want to be reclusive, because all we're doing is shouting, "You suck, we hate you, get out of our faces." And I already know that some feminists are going to attack me in the comments saying, okay, pick me, okay, pick me, okay, pick Misha. But I don't care. I don't care, okay? I think it's very important that women are talking about this, okay? Because this is a problem. This is a problem in society. Men make up half of our population, okay? We want strong men. We need strong men in society. As much as you probably don't want to hear that, it's the truth, okay? Yeah.
Fellas, welcome aboard. Hope you guys are doing fine. We have seen this countless times where women hate this trend of men going their own way, which we probably known as MGTOW movement. They're confused because they can't exploit men anymore. Now let's get a look at what she said here. The objective of this war is to keep men and women divided so that they don't join together to create family units. We have seen young men struggle. They are addicted to video games. They do not want to partake in society. Men go on TikTok and hear women say, "If you are not tall, rich, and hot, get out of my face." They see women say men used to go to war and die, but now they take pictures. They see all of this, and they reinforce this idea that society and women hates them. So now she's saying ladies should stop complaining that there's no good man out there. Beck, that not true. First of all, I really appreciate her for her intervention. This is an important conversation. A lot of young men today grow up constantly being told they're useless or a problem, and that has real consequences. But this isn't men versus women. Society is structured in a way that benefits conflict. When we fight each other, nobody looks at what's actually broken. And the biggest thing we ignore is family. Family is the most important entity in any society. When family values collapse, society can't function. You can have money, technology, success, but without strong families, everything becomes empty. Our culture is good at teaching women how to expect men to treat them, but it rarely teaches them how to treat men. Conversely, we do a good job teaching men how to treat women, but a poor job of teaching them what to expect from women. Those young men will soon be full-grown men with power in society. It will be X10 worse for women in the future because of that. Yet again, the government hates a strong family unit because they are easy to manipulate. Feminism has separated men and women, and now it's aiming to separate parents from children, either by aborting children or viewing children as a burden. We have to do better.
I don't know if it's just me, but I love a man that's disciplined. Like, yeah, baby, show me you got some self-respect. I love somebody who has a structured life. Like, you're not just out here just doing stuff. If you lack discipline, you lack structure. If you lack structure, your life will be the fruits of all of those things, which would be the reason why you are attracting a type of women that would not listen to you, because they see the fruits of your labor and it's not lining up to what they want. And on the flip side, that could be God just giving you a sign to do better, find yourself in better situations, in that way that you can find the woman that you actually need. But until that time comes, you have to learn how to structure and discipline yourself. You cannot lead somebody properly if you can't even lead yourself.
She tried to explain that a woman only hesitates to follow because the man lacks direction, discipline, or a clear plan. According to that argument, her resistance is simply caution. That explanation sounds reasonable on the surface, yet it ignores a much larger reality. Many women reject guidance even from men who have their life organized, stable income, and a clear path forward. The issue is not about safety or structure. The real problem is attitude. For years, women have been encouraged to question every decision a man makes, challenge his authority, and treat cooperation like weakness. That mindset turns every relationship into a constant struggle for control rather than a partnership built on respect. Another part of her claim suggested that men were never meant to guide anything in the first place. That idea flips centuries of human structure upside down. Families, communities, and civilizations were built around male responsibility and leadership because men were expected to carry the burden of protection and provision. Many modern women reject that arrangement while still expecting the benefits that come with it. They dismiss male authority but still demand security, stability, and commitment. That contradiction creates chaos in relationships because it removes the balance that once kept households functioning. The truth many people avoid discussing is that a lot of women simply refuse to cooperate with any form of male direction. It doesn't matter how disciplined, focused, or responsible the man is. The problem comes from pride and the belief that compromise equals surrender. That attitude destroys trust and leaves men feeling like they are constantly negotiating with someone who sees partnership as a competition. Instead of building something together, the relationship turns into a power struggle. Many men are stepping away from that situation entirely because they would rather build their life in peace than constantly prove their worth to someone who never intended to respect their role in the first place.
When you police everything a man does, whether it's his following or what he does, how he lives, he sees that as, okay, this is not gonna stop here. Because let's be real here, a woman typically doesn't say to a man, hey, can you unfollow this one person because of this, this, and this? I mean, really, the reality is, if you were asking something that small, typically most men would be willing to consider it. But it never stops there. All of a sudden, you're expected to cut people off that you've known for 10, 20 years. And deep down, he knows that. And then the relationship becomes like almost you're his supervisor and he's your subordinate. Then you also complain on another front that your man doesn't lead. A man knows he can't have a peaceful relationship with a woman like that. If you're incredibly insecure, I suggest you work on it. And I mean, a lot of us have been there. It's fine. It's not I don't know. It's something that can be changed. But instead, if you sit there and act like, oh, this is normal, we need to normalize this. No, you need to work on yourself. And if you need a reassurance from a man, just ask for it. Hey, I'm feeling a little insecure, babe, because of blank, blank, blank. Can you give me some reassurance? Holy cow. I think a lot of men would love to hear that. Because then they can just address it head on and be done with it.
There are women who constantly supervise every move a man makes, questioning his choices, correcting small decisions, and inserting themselves into every situation. Then the same woman complains that the man is not stepping up as the leader. That contradiction creates confusion inside the relationship. A man cannot guide anything when someone is standing over his shoulder, directing every step he takes. Leadership requires space to think, decide, and act. When a woman interrupts that process with constant control, she slowly removes the very role she later demands from him. Many men have experienced this exact pattern. A man takes initiative, and immediately the criticism begins. His decision gets challenged, his judgment gets doubted, and his actions get second-guessed. Over time, that constant interference drains his motivation. Eventually, he steps back, not because he lacks confidence, but because he sees that every effort will be questioned anyway. Then the same woman turns around and asks why he no longer takes charge. The answer is simple. She replaced leadership with supervision and expected the man to perform under her authority. This behavior comes from a mindset where control matters more than cooperation. Some women want the title of independence while also expecting the benefits of a man taking responsibility. That combination does not work. A man cannot guide the direction of a relationship while being treated like an employee under constant review. Many men have recognized this pattern and decided they would rather step away from that environment completely than live in a situation where they are expected to lead while someone else insists on holding the steering wheel.
And another thing, how is it that when he sets boundaries for himself, you cross every single one of them? How is it that when he sets boundaries for himself, he's insecure, he's a narcissist, or he's manipulative, or he's controlling? But when you set boundaries and you say, oh, I need some space, I need some time, you expect for him to honor that and still be waiting right there when you get back. No, he has to have boundaries too. He has to have stipulations on what he wants and what he needs in the relationship. But you think that it's only about you. You think that you can set boundaries and ain't nobody supposed to cross them and he's supposed to just respect that. That man ain't insecure. That man ain't a manipulator. What it is you don't want him to have any type of regard for himself. You want him to have such low self-esteem that you get to walk all over him. You don't want him to care enough about himself to set boundaries so that way you can walk all over him and control him. Your ass ain't slick.
Many women become uncomfortable the moment a man starts defining what behavior he will accept in his life. The reaction usually comes with accusations. Suddenly the man is described as insecure, selfish, manipulative, or controlling simply because he refuses to tolerate certain actions. For a long time, men were expected to remain quiet, overlook disrespect, and keep giving more of themselves regardless of how they were treated. The moment a man speaks up and draws a clear line, the conversation quickly turns into an attack on his character. That response reveals how some women prefer a situation where only their expectations matter while the man is supposed to adjust endlessly. The double standard becomes obvious when women talk about their own personal limits. Many of them openly say they need distance, quiet time, or emotional space. They expect that request to be respected without resistance. In their minds, the man should patiently remain available while they sort through their feelings. That demand places him in a waiting position where his time and emotional investment are taken for granted. The problem is that many women believe their boundaries are valid, yet they struggle to accept that a man has the same right to protect his own peace. A healthy relationship requires both people to respect each other's conditions. A man is allowed to decide what kind of behavior he will accept around him. He can require loyalty, honesty, and basic respect just like anyone else. Those expectations do not make him controlling. They simply show that he values his well-being. The issue appears when women interpret any male standard as a challenge to their authority in the relationship. Instead of recognizing that balance requires mutual respect, they treat his limits like a personal attack. This mindset has pushed many men to rethink how they approach relationships. They are realizing that protecting their time, energy, and mental stability is necessary. A man who ignores his own standards eventually becomes frustrated and drained. More men are deciding that their needs deserve the same level of recognition that women demand for themselves. When a relationship only revolves around one person's comfort, it stops being a partnership and turns into an arrangement where the man is expected to sacrifice while the woman sets all the rules.
Choose your man, choose your trade-off. Ladies, today we're going to talk about the cons of a masculine man, because a lot of women say they want a masculine man, but we're going to really see if that's true after you listen to what are the cons of a masculine man. So sit down. Here's where women get shocked, because the same traits that make him attractive are the same traits that will check you and challenge you. Number 1, he will not revolve his life around you. You are part of his world. You're not his entire world. He has a mission, he has responsibility, and he has a standard of focus. So no, he's not texting you all day. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's not a bored man. He has a life. He shows love through consistency, protection, provision, and planning. Not constant access. And if you confuse constant access with love, you're going to feel neglected even though you're not. Number 2, vulnerability is not going to come easy to him. A masculine man is not an emotionally convenient man. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. A lot of masculine men struggle to soften emotionally. Not because they're heartless, but because they're rewarded for strength and not softness. And in the patriarchal society that we live in, that's what they reward him with. So you might get a man who can build you a whole life, but still has a hard time saying, I feel insecure, I'm hurt, and I'm scared. He'll protect, he'll provide, and he will fix. But emotional language might be something that he has to learn. And if you need constant emotional reassurance, you might interpret him as cold even when he's loyal. Con number 3, leadership can turn into rigidity if he is not conscious. Strong direction can become stubbornness. He may think, my way makes the most sense. And if you're used to negotiating everything, you're going to feel like you're dating a wall. Healthy masculine leadership is steady. Unhealthy masculine leadership is controlling. And guess what? Majority of men are unhealthy. So majority of them are going to be controlling. And here's the nuance. Sometimes it's not control. Sometimes it's territorial, because they are possessive. He's protective. He's possessive in a healthy way. He wants to know where his woman is. He wants to know you're safe, and he's not casual about access to you. But if you're a woman who equates that with restriction, you're going to clash. Con number 4, he has boundaries that will humble you. And this is the one women are not ready for. If you disrespect him, he's not going to beg you to act right. He'll go quiet, he'll pull back, and he will observe. Not to punish you, but because he does not negotiate his self-respect. And remember, men need to be respected more than they need to be loved. So if you're used to men who tolerate anything because they're afraid to lose you, a masculine man will shock you, because he would choose peace over chasing you. Number 5, he expects appreciation, and yes, he has an ego. I don't care what anybody says. If he's leading, protecting, providing, and solving, baby, you better boost that ego, baby. You better. And he feels like it's invisible. His protecting, providing, leading, he will start to resent you. He might not say it dramatically, but he will slowly do less. Because masculine men go to where they feel appreciated and respected. And women love receiving, but many women forget the currency that keeps a man generous, which is appreciation and gracefulness. You must be graceful and appreciative. Admiration, appreciation, and respect. In that order, okay? Not worship, respect. There's a fine line, okay? Because sometimes you gotta humble that ego too. Con number 6, he has options. Because a masculine man, especially the stable ones, they are in demand. So if you're used to a relationship where you can be inconsistent, chaotic, hot and cold, he's not going to play that. He replaces chaos quickly. Remember, in his job, that's his job, to solve chaos, especially if he's a entrepreneur. That's why I'm telling women, don't choose a masculine man if you want to keep your toxic patterns. They do like a little toxicity from time to time, I'm not gonna lie, just to keep the relationship fresh, to keep him on his toes. It's just the right kind of toxicity, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean toxicity, I mean a little bit of chaos. From time to time is okay, but 24/7 consistently, he will either check you or leave you. On number 7, he may move slower than you want, and this is the gag. A masculine man doesn't rush major commitments just because he's emotional. He is strategic, very strategic. He needs a ROI. That's how he lives his life. He may take his time because he's vetting. He watches how you handle conflict, how you handle stress, how you handle boundaries, how you carry yourself. He is not just choosing a girlfriend, he's choosing who has access to his life. And if you're addicted to quick intensity, that steadiness can be very boring to you. But boring is often safety. Another one is they expect reciprocity and not dependency. They provide, but they do not respect helplessness long term. The whole point of him being in your life is for you to evolve yourself as a woman. Okay? That's how you get him to stay around for a long time. You have to be evolving yourself. Like, damn, I married this girl at this, and she has become like 3 different women the whole time we were together. This is why you need to make sure you are the center of your world. They have respect for women who have identity, emotional regulation, standards, self-respect, not women who collapse into dependence. Masculine men provide, but they do not carry your identity. And this is the frickin' delusion and fairy tale that women think. They think a man is going to come save him. He is not. And yes, they will chase you, but they will not chase you forever if they sense misalignments, because to them, alignment is more important. They will choose themselves. They put themselves first. They strongly pursue, but selectively. Another one is that they expect emotional maturity from you. They don't tolerate chaos long term. Not cruelty, but standards. If everything becomes constant drama, or you're constantly having big emotional meltdowns where you have no type of emotional discipline and no type of emotional control, they will withdraw. So, goddess, the real question isn't, do you want a masculine man? The real question is, can you be with a man who is steady without trying to disturb the steadiness to feel something? Can you be with a man who leads without trying to compete with him? Can you be with a man who has boundaries without turning it into abandonment? Because masculine men can feel like peace, but only if you're not addicted to chaos. And if you're realizing, okay, I want that, but my nervous system is not there yet, that's exactly why I created the Feminine Reset. It's not about becoming feminine, it's about becoming regulated enough to receive a stable man in your life without sabotaging it. And the provider magnet is for the women who want to stop confusing emotional unavailability with masculinity, and control with leadership, because they look similar until you know what you're looking at. So remember, ladies, choose your man, choose your trade-off, and choose consciously. I hope this video helped. I hope you got clarity, and I love you. Bye. Mwah.
A disciplined man usually brings calm energy into a relationship. His life has direction, purpose, and a clear focus, which naturally creates a peaceful environment around him. Many women claim they want that type of man because stability feels secure. What they often ignore is that peace is not something that chases emotional chaos. A focused man will not spend his days managing unpredictable moods or constantly repairing problems that were created out of unnecessary drama. His attention remains on his responsibilities, his goals, and the path he is building for his future. That calm atmosphere exists because he refuses to allow disorder to take over his life. This kind of man also refuses to play confusing emotional games. When something is wrong, he expects honesty instead of silent treatment, followed by frustration. He is not interested in trying to interpret hidden messages behind the word nothing. If someone refuses to communicate clearly, he simply continues focusing on his priorities. Women who expect a man to drop everything and revolve around emotional turbulence quickly realize he will not do that. His mission stays intact, and he will not sacrifice his progress just to calm temporary outbursts or unpredictable reactions. A masculine man will give you structure, provision, protection, but he will also require emotional responsibility, direct communication, self-awareness, respect. If that feels confronting, that's not shame. That's growth. And this is exactly why feminine reset matters. Because if your nervous system is addicted to intensity, stability will feel boring or threatening. A provider magnet teaches you how to distinguish masculine leadership versus emotional unavailability. They're not the same. A good man will have two things: standards and boundaries. He also carries strong personal standards. Respect and appreciation matter to him, and manipulation is something he refuses to entertain. If he notices those lines being crossed, he does not explode with anger or create a loud confrontation. Instead, he quietly distances himself. That reaction confuses many women who expected a dramatic response they could control. Because they are used to emotional chaos, a composed man looks distant to them. In reality, he simply protects his dignity and refuses to trade his self-respect for someone who brings confusion into a life built around discipline and stability.
The biggest compliment for a man is to bag a woman that hates men. She loves herself, she knows who she is, and she don't give a fuck what men think of her. So if you manage to get yourself a girl like that, that's saying a lot about you, because most men want something easy. They will give up at the first hurdle. They don't want to take the time or have the energy or have the capacity to understand a woman that knows her own worth, that is confident, that needs nothing from a man, never seeks male validation, is not impressed easily, is not easily accessible to people. To get a girl like that, to impress a girl like that and impress her enough to make her your girlfriend, to make her want to be your girlfriend, you've done really well, my friend, because you have to be of a certain caliber. You have to have a certain level of intelligence, emotional awareness, and you have to be a special kind of person to get a woman like that to give you her attention, let alone make her your girlfriend. If you manage to get a girl like that, you are doing very well for yourself.
So it's the biggest compliment for a woman to get a man that hates women. She said again that most men want something easy. They will give up at the first hurdle. They don't want to take the time or have the energy or have the capacity to understand a woman that knows her own worth. That's confident. That needs nothing from a man, never seeks male validation, is not impressed easily, is not easily accessible to people. She said to get a girl like that, to impress a girl like that, to impress her enough like that to be your girlfriend, you have done really well. That's the irony that's coming out from her mouth. Most men don't care about a woman's worth. Most men care about how a woman treats him. Self-confidence and believing in yourself doesn't always involve putting someone else down, let alone half the entire human population. What if the roles were reversed? What if men had the same attitude towards women? Would she be okay with it? Why hate men? Women be like men are the demons, and women are angels. This is classic lack of accountability. Rather than a woman try to heal herself from such hatred before looking towards being with a man should just want to take on such a toxic woman instead. Hate to shock you, but being with a woman who hates men isn't a compliment. I'd rather be with a woman who brings me peace and wants to be with me rather than being the least disliked. Thanks for watching, and I'm glad this video helps a lot. I will be hoping to drop more engaging and enlightened videos. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your friends who has been or are in this kind of situation. Thanks once again.